Serious talk this afternoon on Kababayan LA. Melissa Rojas and Liza Campa is here joining us. Hello and welcome to Kababayan LA. Melissa, you may have known, you may have heard of her name. Very controversial, popular a few years ago, a few months ago. But Melissa, let's talk about human rights violations now. It's something that you experienced firsthand. But tell me the situation. What is the climate out there now?
Well, there's a new president. When the incident happened to me, it was under President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. But now with a new president, Benigno Aquino, unfortunately, there are still killings going on, and the rate of extrajudicial killings, disappearances, torture, and displacement has continued. And there's even a new counterinsurgency plan that he has implemented. And so, of course, human rights activists are very concerned that you know, his promises not only to bring justice to victims but to continue to pay attention to human rights is you know, people are putting a lot of pressure and want him to do that.
Right. Although I thought he started on good when he freed Morong 43, which turned out to be something that was very confusing for the people also, Liza.
Yes, a lot of the there was misunderstanding about what the 43 healthcare workers were doing, but in fact they were engaged in doing healthcare work in the most challenging areas in the Philippines.
But after they were freed, Melissa, some of them went on air to say that they were in fact with the NPA. So the military were right all along for getting custody of them.
Actually, what human rights advocates and even the other health workers believe is that they were, through immense torture, forced into admitting that they were NPA, even though those accusations are false. And because they are still in military custody, it really puts into question what kind of pressure they are on, and their families are still being threatened. And so it's very intense, but you know, these are health workers that come from very poor families, and so and a lot of those areas are still militarized, so there's a lot of military pressure still on those 5 that are being held by the military.
And speaking of torture, Melissa, this is something that you have had first-hand experience about. Are you okay now talking about it to us?
I think having gone through that, it's something very difficult, and even the details of it I don't go into, but what really pushes me is the fact that it continues to happen. And I've met many families who are still looking for their loved ones, who have lost their loved ones, only for the simple fact that they wanted to help their communities and their families. And so it breaks my heart, and for me to not say anything, to stay silent about it, is I can't do that.
Yes, and you know, we're celebrating the fact that you survived that ordeal. Like, you were abducted, and then you were tortured, and then now you're back, and now you're talking, and now you're having this, turning something negative into a positive thing. Let's talk about the exhibit.
Yes, the exhibit is over an 8-month-long process of really coming into fruition, and the idea came about because not a lot of people know about the human rights issues going on in the Philippines, and for that matter, even domestically. There's a lot of Filipinos here that live in the United States, and Los Angeles is one of the largest population of Filipinos.
Right.
Yes, and so we thought that this exhibit is really a good one to involve the community and to utilize arts and people's skills as artists and human rights advocates to expose these issues.
And it's two-pronged. So to raise awareness, also to raise funds for the projects of Hobby Arts?
It's a joint collaboration with Filipino Arts and Justice Forum, Hobby Arts, and SIGAO, who Liza is a member of SIGAO.
Liza, the exhibit is ongoing now, and when will it end?
So the ending date is this Saturday, February 5th. We have a special program from 2 to 5 p.m. And in that program, we will have speakers talking about how art and human rights can be combined to really serve as an educational and advocacy tool to stand up and get up, to take a stand against human rights.
And I think one reason, Melissa, that people are a little bit detached from this issue, I noticed that too, not everyone is as involved and as passionate about it, is because we think that it's not going to happen to us. Why should we care? Why should we care? Talk to us.
I think we should care because I think almost anyone that you talk to has relatives still in the Philippines, and even conditions why our families decided to go to the United States are rooted in those problems, whether it's landlessness, joblessness, and also these activists are just fighting for basic rights that those that were taken away from us. That's why we had to, our families had to go to the U.S. And so I think that people should definitely care about it. And it's a universal issue, definitely human rights.
Very well said. And you know, I applaud you for being courageous coming to us today and talking about this. We need to talk about this more, obviously, but thank you so much and more power to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us today on the show. Sana po marami kayong natutunan. We'll be back for more tomorrow. Please join us.